Hi, we're here today with Dirk Dornblüth, the CEO and owner of independent German watch brand Dornblüth Sohn. In this Meet the Master chat, what we're going to do is put some of your questions to Dirk to get his responses and tips about the manufacturing processes and special developments that make Dornblüth Sohn watches so unique. So, hi Dirk, welcome, and thanks for taking time out for Define and our customers.
Hi, it's nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Dirk, as you know, Dornblüth fans are spread out across Australia. Not all of them could make it to our Noosa store to meet you in person. So what we did is ask them to send their questions to us. And now we've got about 8 or so questions in all. And maybe if we run through them one by one and get your feedback and insights, and then we can share this recording with the watch community for anyone who's interested. Our first question today comes from Takuro, who was asking about the company, Dornblüth Sohn. Things like how big is it, what machinery and technology do you use? So, you know, how old is the company to begin with?
The company was started in 1962, and also we have 56
years ago. Yeah,
years ago.
Yeah, yep. By your dad?
By my dad, was the founder.
Yep.
And he was a founder in the tricky time. It was a founder in the time of communism.
Yep. Yeah. And you came into the company roughly around when?
I come in the company in 1983.
Yep.
And my father was my teacher in watchmaking.
Yep. Nice. And how big are you now? How many employees do you have in watchmakers?
We have 9 employees and 3 watchmakers
as well as you.
As well as me.
Yeah. Okay, great. Now, the technology you use, Takuro is interested to know, is it traditional or is it quite cutting edge? What type of machinery are you working on?
Yeah, we have only old machine.
Right.
The youngest machine is 35 years old.
Okay.
And the oldest machine 120 years old.
Okay.
And the reason is not so, it's a marketing. The reason is that we are, as my father and me beginning with the watch building, we have not so much money for this, and then we searching and old machines and put oldest machines, and sometimes we put from 3 or 4 machines, build a new one machine.
Right. Okay.
And it's a lot of fun, and this is our feeling.
Philosophy, yeah. And I guess you'd get a really good feeling for watchmaking by working on these machines because it's up to you really what you do. It comes out in the watch that you're making. And nowadays you continue to prefer to work on those machines?
Yes, it's very nice with work with him, and the feeling from the oldest machines are very different to the new machines.
Yeah.
New machines is
no connection, I guess. Yeah. It's a different type of watchmaking. Yeah, it must be really interesting to see in person for people who visit. Do you invite visitors to the company?
Yes, I invite anyone to visiting in Kalbe, and then you can the man or woman say we produce the Dornblüth feeling.
To experience it themselves. Okay. So we can take that as an official invite, can we?
Yes.
Great. Okay. So you can expect busloads of Australians to be coming your way soon. Okay. Thanks for that. We'll move on. And now we are moving on to a question from Stephen, who asked about an international register for Dornblüth customers. Do you have such a system, or do you serial number track? What form does it take, and how is it used?
Yeah, we are a small company, and we have from every customers we have a register, and every customer is the owner from the Dornblüth. We can lots of years later we can say what is the owner, when was a watch by service in Dornblüth, and it's a very good system, and with this feeling can the customer and me, we are a small family, a Dornblüth family.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's tracking really from the original purchase all the way through. And if the watches are sold part way, they can also register that again with you. So you can keep a provenance basically for the watch's history, which is really important.
And a good thing is also when we would now hope it when a Dornblüth watch was stolen.
Yeah.
And then we can the registered number, see what is the really owner.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
traceable. That's
Yeah.
excellent. So not only for service warranty and
Yes.
ownership, and that it's for those security reasons as well. So I guess that you sort of, when you come into that book or that register, which does actually exist,
Yes.
doesn't it, at Dornblüth, you're almost like being written into the family history of Dornblüth. It's
Yeah.
quite nice. This leads quite nicely into the next question from Philip. And this question actually comes up a few times with customers. People want to know who makes your beautiful boxes.
Yeah. The beautiful boxes makes a friend from me. He's a wood maker and works normally as teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a very obsession.
Yeah, perfectionist.
He's a perfectionist.
Yeah, yeah.
And he comes Monday at 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
And when Uwe brings new boxes,
Yeah.
then I said to me, "Oh, show in this angle, I have the surface a little better."
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. What is the actual wood that they make
The
from?
wood make is elm.
Yeah.
It's from our area.
Okay.
I think it's very important that we are not used tropical wood.
Yeah. Okay. So something local from the area.
Local
like
from the
watches are
area,
local, everything.
We
Yeah.
we show that we are the mostly parts sell in our area. The cases and the pillows for the.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Even the pillows.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's really excellent, because I think that way, and because the wood grain on the elm is really spectacular, I think each box is quite unique,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah. And I think you were telling me before about a story with the little hole in the front. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Uwe said, Dirk, this was in former days was your idea, and I say no, it's your idea. It's a little
Controversy.
little controversy, a little joke with us.
Okay, who's got ownership?
It's a good thing for sitting in a bar and drinking a beer.
So whose idea was it?
Yes.
We've got it on record now. Was
Yes.
it your idea?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We've got that on record. For anyone who hasn't seen one of the Dornblüth boxes, they're actually really spectacular. They're beautifully finished and very individual, and I think it just adds another piece of something special to the
Yeah.
Dornblüth watch.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, and congratulations for reducing your carbon footprint by using these reusable products, and for keeping it local, and for having the ethic about that as well. That's really nice. So
Yeah.
well done, from all of us for that. Perhaps we can move on now to some more specific questions about your movements and your in-house developments. So a couple of people have asked about the base calibers you use. Andrew, in particular, asked about the percentage of ETA movement parts that you integrate, and the extent and type of alterations you make in the Dornblüth & Son calibers.
So we have now two complete in-house movement.
Yep.
This 2010, the Quintus caliber, and the Ladies Watch.
Yep.
2016,
Yep.
and we have also an caliber
Yep.
with mostly parts we make self, and the low parts percent from German from us
Yep.
is 60%,
Okay.
and the mostly parts is 75%, and 25% from the parts our between 40% of the parts
Yeah.
comes from ETA caliber.
Okay, so the maximum amount of
Maximum
ETA you would use is 40%,
Yeah.
and that is in one caliber only, or?
In 99.1, 0,
Yeah.
99.0 is the lowest part from Dornblüth.
Okay.
This is 60%,
Yeah, yeah.
and the
Of
highest
Dornblüth
part
parts,
of Dornblüth parts,
yeah.
and the highest parts is 75% from Dornblüth. This is a caliber 99.3,
Yeah.
99.5, 99 regulator,
Yeah.
and our new caliber, the global timer.
Yeah, okay. So there's really a high amount of Dornblüth
Yes.
sort of working that you're doing in the Ebosch calibers
Yes.
anyway. Yeah. Okay, terrific. Now this leads us nicely into a couple of really good questions sent in by Mark about his 99.1 caliber. So it's going to get a little bit detailed here, so watch lovers are going to love this. And the first part of Mark's question is, how do you get the 99.1 calibers so accurate? Mark's given us some examples here that he said his watch runs at least at less than a second per day slow, and he's actually said over 4 days when he's had it on and off the wrist, it was -2 seconds. And he says here in his words that's extraordinary, and then he wants to know, did he get lucky, or is this a standard accuracy for these movements? So maybe you could tell us a little bit about that.
Hi, Mark. Thank you for the feedback, for the good feedback.
Yeah.
Our goal is that we are by regulation from our watches that we are coming in a chronometer area.
Okay, great. That's for all the watches.
For all our watches.
The goal is to bring them within chronometer standards.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sometimes it's a little different about the
from caliber to caliber.
From caliber to caliber,
yeah, sure.
And the different people has the watches on the wrist.
Okay, so how they're worn and how they're used.
More active or more slowly.
Sure. So Mark got a good one then?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And this leads us now to the second part of Mark's question. So he's saying he notices when he lets his watch run down and it's wound up again, it needs a couple of tiny corrections in the first few hours to bring it into perfection. He did say, though, that he wants to once again just let you know that he finds it terrific that it's keeping to this level of accuracy. But in general, the 99.1, is this something that people should expect of the 99.1, that they're going to need that?
It's normal, Mark,
okay.
for this. And this is additional reason that we are make the 2010 caliber, the Quintus.
Yeah.
And in this caliber we have a two-barrel system in a combination with a Malteser cross mechanism.
Okay.
And we have this, we have more, the power is more
even.
Yeah. And that by the 99.1, it's a different to 2010.
Yeah.
That's I think we have a better feeling for this.
Great, so while we're starting to talk now about Quintus and that, this is a good time to look at a question sent in by Vincent, who's asked if you can explain the Quintus movement. And he's sort of saying, why is it more expensive than the others in the collection? What makes it so special?
Yes, that's right. We have lots of more work with a 2010 caliber. It's a complete in-house movement.
Yeah.
And we have the Malteser cross combination with two barrels. We are only watchmaker behind Lange & Sohn. Lange has a little other system with...
it's a fusee and chain, I think.
Yes,
yeah.
It's a fusee and chain system. It's a little different to us.
Yeah.
And that's... we less lots of work with this.
Sure.
And
so it's just you and Lange who are doing this system. And,
it's only.
Okay, yeah. So what's it bringing? What is a double barrel and what's a Maltese cross bringing to the movement? The benefits.
The benefits is that we are used the best from the power from two barrels.
So the double barrel gives you more power, basically extends the power.
More normally has you from two barrels. Longer working time from the watch.
Sure.
And by us, we cutting the best from two barrels for moving the watches.
So this is the function of the Maltese cross. The complication, it basically takes the best part of the power reserve curve out to even out the wear and the tear.
And the customer feel when the watch full winding, feel exact stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's not that little overwind that maybe Mark was referring to before or something. Okay.
And the other benefits is we have a short anchor system.
Yes.
And we have another escapement from a Swatch group. We have an owner escapement for only 2010.
You have your own. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So there's quite a bit of development gone into that. I think that's sort of what Vincent's questioning, and that, this development and this and I believe it's patented, the system, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Malteser cross mechanism is patented.
To Dornblüth and Sohn.
And we have a second patent nearly.
Yeah, patent pending,
from the wheel between the barrels has a special design from one side of the teeth.
Okay.
And with this we have a a better power, and then that power goes up and goes down. It's more linear power for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the end, what that's doing is making the movement. It's less wear on the movement. Is that right? It's preserving the movement for
Yes,
longer.
it's more preserving. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Another question that keeps coming up ever since you've released the new ceramic dials, which are beautiful, by the way, it's related to the cost and the performance of these dials. So people want to know why the upgrade price is so costly, and a couple of people have sort of expressed their concerns about the resilience, given, horror stories of cracked and chipped enamel dials and cases in the past. So we might need to break this one down a little bit further. Maybe we start off by the difference. The ceramic dials are different to enamel dials.
Yes, it's very
right.
different. The difference is we have our ceramic dial is it's not complete ceramic. It's also dangerous for broken.
The ceramic
so it's normally ceramic.
Enamel's quite.
This is nearly
sensitive.
ceramic.
Yeah.
And our ceramic is a ceramic powder and a special liquid.
Yeah.
And we have a special oven that we are put in, and our ceramic is very more elastic and very more. The color is a long time, very
color fast. Okay. So I understand that with this ceramic, it's UV light set.
Yes.
So it gives it these elastic properties, which makes it less susceptible to cracking and chipping and brittleness, like your enamel or your other ceramics.
It's not
and then it also gives it a great color fastness. Yeah.
It's not so complete, so to 100% so hard as enamel.
Yeah.
It's 80%, and not so people goes inside the watch and scratching.
Sure. It's very beautiful looking, though. The finish is very beautiful. And now I do understand that it can be done in any colour. Yeah.
We can make the mostly colours.
Yeah.
Pantone, what the customers made. You're welcome.
So you pick your colour and you can match it. So that really makes them quite bespoke then.
Yeah.
So we're really talking about a one-off dial.
Yeah.
And I think this is where we start to look at the cost issues now and that. So not only is the technique different and unique, and it's a better ceramic dial, it's a better product, but it's a custom-made product. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And then when you mill the numerals, it's another thing. Yeah.
Also a special from Dornblüth dials. We are now the only watchmaker says we are used engraving dials. We have engraving dials in silver, and we have engraving dials in ceramic. Yeah. It's a very special and difficult process, with all of them writing and lines, cutting before, and after then we put the color inside, and the customer can show it's a very exactly border to the normally surface from the dial.
So you mill the numerals and all the lines and all the things on the dial, and you fill them with the ink, and then it's delineated. It's actually a really crisp delineation I find on the dials. They're very beautiful. So how long does it take to make one of these dials?
Yeah, we need 1 day or 2 days for making a ceramic dial.
Terrific. So it's so I think when you look at the cost from that perspective, so it's a superior product. It's something quite different. Gives you a beautiful finish. It can be bespoke to anything people want, and it is basically custom made per watch dial. I think then when you look at those aspects, it really justifies the price. And then when you see it, in my opinion, they're very beautiful. So Okay, we're nearly done. This brings us to our last question. This is from Mark again, and he'd like to know how often your watches should be serviced, and who can service them.
Oh, the service is less between 6 years or 8 years. We build our watches very traditional, and we used good oils and not Nest. That's watch. All of them 2 years comes to a service to Kalber or to another watchmaker. Right. It's not Nest.
Because some brands do insist upon really, quite frequent servicing, so that's not necessary with Dornblüth.
No.
Okay.
And
unless you notice, I would imagine if you notice something particularly wrong with the watch or its functionality, then it's time
when a failure before comes, then it's necessary watch come to us or to define, or from the watch to the watchmaker from define.
Sure.
Yeah. And other reason is that our watches we build this that we have traditional watchmaking technique inside, and that's a watchmaker was a good watchmaker is he can also make a service someone's models for special models. We can briefing before this, and then can other watchmaker also repair watch.
Okay, so a trained watchmaker can service these watches, and then you can, on special circumstances, so you can debrief them or something like that. Yeah, okay. I know our service centre had a representative over there as well, I think last year, and they did some training with you guys, so that's possible to do that within each region and market as well. Okay, that is fantastic. Thank you, Dirk. I know it's difficult for you to speak English. We really appreciate the effort. No, that's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. I know our customers will thank you very much for all the information and insights. If anyone has any more questions, send them through, and Dirk is happy to answer them for you by email or something. We all wish you the best of luck, and we wish Dornblüth much success in the future from everyone down under.
We hope so. Thank you.
Thank you, Dirk.